It's the only person below White Holiday in the ComicsGate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by our special guest, Russ Leach. How's it going?
Fine, thanks. Thank you for having me on.
All right. As you can see, I'm trying to get fancy now. fancy.
It makes me laugh every time I see it.
Intros and outros. Yeah, CG UK is pretty awesome. They're always cracking me up. Let's see here. So today we'll be discussing your book, Only Death Can Save Us.
Yeah.
Before we do that, it's been a little bit since you last visited the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind taking a moment or two or three and sharing some background as to, what kind of experience and background you have, and what was the path you took that led you down to eventually releasing your own crowdfunded comic?
Okay, yeah. I've been in production, publishing, retail, and leisure design and production since I got out of art school. So around 1986, 87. And I've always loved comics since I was a kid. That's what most comic book artists say, and it's true. Once I was in art school, I was told by an illustration teacher not to bother. So I went straight out into the world of design and production. But I still couldn't get rid of that, niggle in the back of my mind, because comics was what I loved. So I tried back in the old days when you did submissions via snail mail and not via the internet. I submitted to Marvel and to Image and to DC and Dark Horse. I got a negatory from DC. I got nothing back at all from Dark Horse. I got a very nice letter back from the Image editorial staff that said they would pass my work around, and I was of a good enough quality. And I ended up striking up a conversation with the new talent manager at Marvel at the time, which was John Louis Lewandowski, I believe that was his name. And he loved my work, and I sent a few submissions backwards and forwards, and he said that he would circulate my work among the editors. But unfortunately, nothing came of it, and I had to get on and earn money to pay a mortgage. And as we all know, unfortunately, geography makes a big difference when you're trying to get into the big publishers. It's a lot easier if you live in New York. I'm not going to say that's why I didn't get the work, because that's not the only reason, because there are British artists that get in, but it does, there is a barrier there, and it certainly made it a lot harder for me to continue chasing that. And at the time, what I wanted to do was just, get on and pay my mortgage. So I went off into a career of art direction, and in the end, programming and graphic design. And I had my own business for a while, servicing the leisure industry. And that stopped around 2010. And I decided either I had to go and get more training and kind of throw myself into IT completely, or into programming completely, or have a go at doing what I'd always wanted to do. So I decided to go freelance as an illustrator, and I slowly started picking up work. In fact, almost straight away, I picked up some indie comic work in the US. But I also tried out for 2000 AD and was told quite bluntly that wasn't right. So, it's not straightforward. You've got to keep, working at your art. And so I started chipping away at my talent, at my skill sets, which weren't complete in any way, shape or form. And I effectively started the journey on my 10,000 hours, which is, it's a kind of it's kind of an idea, a concept that to get really, really good at something, you need at least 10,000 hours in there.
Oh.
So I started doing that, and I picked up some more independent work. I ended up bumping into and working with my future editor, Panini, for Doctor Who. And I did a couple of graphic novels for Marcosia. I think I did some work on Aces Weekly for David Lloyd. And then I got my break, as it were. What I thought was my big break. I got my break with Panini doing Doctor Who. So I thought, this is a massive IP. This is got to get me somewhere. But I never really got any. I sent a couple of submissions into Titan, the other people that were doing Doctor Who, and I never really got much of a response from that. In fact, I got no response of any worth. And from there, I got another gig doing work for Cartoon Network. I did a magazine for the Ben 10 reboot. And then I also got involved via Panini and Hachette to draw art for licensed characters for Marvel, which was the editorial staff at Marvel's end would look over it. So it was a kosher job. I can say I'm a Marvel artist, even though I've not been on any of the monthlies. Simply as being someone who was drawing licensed characters for them. So I got on the book How to Draw the Marvel Way, which is an homage to the old, or Draw the Marvel Way, which is an homage to the old book How to Draw the Marvel Way. And I did that for 4 years. And so by the end of all that, I was thinking, well, where's my next gig going to come from? The comic industry was tectonic plates. It was shifting under my feet. Everyone can see what's going on. And I wasn't quite sure how I was going to get my way into drawing comics full time. I could see that the indie scene was absolutely exploding. So over the last 2 to 3 years, I got involved with storyboarding and with a couple of digital comic book companies that were doing kind of different things. So I was working as an illustrator for them. It just happened to be comic book stuff that I was doing. And I wrote a couple of scripts for myself, realizing that the only way to really get somewhere was to release have your own IP, be in control of it, and be in control of your own production as well. And so that's what I did. And then when the coup turned up this year, my other work, my digital work and my storyboarding work fell off a cliff. It wasn't there. So as it happened, I'd released an 8-page preview of the book in January. And what I was going to do was give myself a day a week to do my own work on top of the work I was doing for other people. But that work dried up almost overnight. So it dried up. And over here in the UK, they were supporting self-employed people with a percentage of their average turnover. So I took that support from the government and tried to create a new revenue stream for myself for hopefully going into the future. So next year, when they're not giving me any support, hopefully I'll have been able to do something with it. So my first book was done. Basically, that's how I got my first book together. And I went to the campaign. I think it was 1st of September, and it ended 31st of October. After I renewed it for a second 30 days. I got it funded in the first 30, and then we picked up the first 4 stretch goals in the second 30, and it's in demand now. And I've just had 4 sales this month. So which is not bad considering I've not been doing any marketing on it at all since the campaign ended, because I've had my head down doing colors. So I'm quite pleased that I'll leave it up in demand for a few months, I think, because I want to see if I get any response from reviews, word of mouth, that kind of stuff. I'll definitely be over printing, and then I'll be printing enough that hopefully, if I can pick up new customers in the second book, that I can offer a 1 and 2 package as one of the tiers. So
yeah, that's important. A lot of people like including myself, like that kind of thing, where if you did happen to miss for whatever reason the first campaign, you get a chance to catch up and not feel like you're left in the dark. Going back real quick, I might have heard wrong, but do you say that you initially got a job for Doctor Who, but then they didn't give you any work for it?
Oh no, I got the gig for Doctor Who. I did 2.5 years on Doctor Who.
Oh, all right.
But what I realised was once that magazine ended, there was nothing after it.
Oh,
It was like it's like I thought this was I considered that getting the Doctor Who gig would be my break. It would be my in. If you see, you get these breaks, and I got that break, and for all intents and purposes, I was completely anonymous because it was a UK centric kids magazine. Kids magazine. It was all ages, but it wasn't the Titan books, if you see what I mean. And of course, all the eyes in America are on the Titan books, not on what I was doing. And then I got the Ben 10 gig, and then all this time I was doing the Marvel stuff as well. But trying to get through, the editorial maze, as it were, to get to Marvel to try and get some way of submitting was a nightmare. So I didn't get where I wanted to be, and I realized that trying to just pick up these page rate gigs just wasn't going to be sustainable. There weren't enough comics selling enough copies for enough of the people. I could see how many people there are out there. There's numerous people looking to work in comics, and there's a fair percentage of them who are really, really good. So you're up against it because there's probably 10 excellent artists for every comic that's produced, that's published by a large publisher, whether it be Image, DC, Marvel, anybody, for Dark Horse, whatever it might be. There's 10 good artists, 10 quality artists. I'm not talking about the number of artists that actually want to be on the book, those that are not ready, those that maybe don't understand what they're doing and need to be in a different area artistically. There's probably 100 artists out there per book. In reality, it's just that there's only 10 of them that could probably do it. And of course, that's even if it is just 10, there's still a 1 in 10 chance of you getting on a book. And the books were coming down. I mean, obviously we've seen the books reduce recently, and even though there wasn't a radical reduction in numbers, obviously Marvel was flooding the shelves at one point.
True.
But you could see that they're not going to last, because books are being cancelled left, right, and centre. And then another one was coming out, and it's like, well, how do you get onto those books? How do you get a gig on those books? It's almost impossible unless you know someone. And even then, So I figured, well, the only way to do this was get off my arse and do it myself. So that's what I did.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, saying that, it's not just about doing it yourself. You have to network. You have to get out there and speak to people. You have to give more than you get in return. So you have to, that's why I started the channel, and I had that in my mind a while ago. That's why I started it a while ago. But you start the channel, you get out there, you talk to people, and you give anything you can. So whether it's an insight into the way that I do my work, a draw along, so you can come in and you can find out how I do my work. I don't consider any of the stuff that I do to really be tutorials. They're more just an insight, and if they help someone else in the way that they work, then great. So it's kind of like giving back or giving out before you start asking people to trust in your work and in you as a creator. It's a group thing, and obviously I've had huge support, which is wonderful. The next thing I'd like to do is in some way try and reach out to other markets, expand the potential reader base, but that's not an easy thing to do.
Right,
So
right.
requires a lot of work.
Welcome, Simon Simpoitier. Hello,
Sim.
everyone. Jacobus Gotek says, hey, hey, hey. We got some, those are the horns symbol from Sim. And El Gargoyle,
El
welcome.
Gargoyle.
Sharing the eggplant.
Nice eggplant.
Excuse me, pretty awesome. Yeah, so only death can save us. Let's go ahead and, man, it's doing pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'm really, really pleased. I mean, I've had a couple of people. I mean, what's important is the number of people. So I've got 188 there, and I know some rather wonderful, marvelous people like yourself have dipped a couple of times. Thank you very much. But I've also had some people do the 2 books for one, in one, and also I did a private sale and put up a secret perk for someone who bought 4 books in one go for 4 different people. So I've probably got that 188 to 190 individuals reading the book, which is what it's all about. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased. I had great support, and
Nice.
it's humbling, actually, the amount of people that help you out. I mean, all the people out there that have retweeted and shared as well. I mean, it's a great thing, really is.
And if I remember correctly, this is actually your first campaign?
Yeah, it's my first campaign. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty impressive for a first campaign. Original goal was 5,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the...
It's about £8,500 at the moment. So
okay, all right.
I think I got about 170% or something like that.
Nice. Let's go ahead and play this trailer here.
$20 billion years ago, as the second age gave way to the third, one last great war raged between Satana's forces of cruel chaos, who had ruled for a sliver of eternity, and the forces of order, who sought to remake things anew. The Supreme called her warlords the Pillars of Creation. Their purpose was not to bring apocalypse, but to welcome forth the new age. Over time, their true purpose would be forgotten, for such is the fate of legends, and only their names would be remembered. War, famine, pestilence, and death. Damn, I like things. Wretched things. You preach to the converted, brother. Their vile number seems limitless. 6,666 by my count.
They have numbers, aye, but their arrogance will yet be their undoing. Mark my words, brothers.
You speak true, Sister Pestilence. Even now, my mistress builds a prison to house him. A prison of love. She also me that we lead them there. This is the word.
Then let us draw succor from it.
And thus it came to pass that the third age began with the vanquishing of evil and the renewal of life. But evil is patient. It clings to the dark places and waits for its moment to strike. We shall know glory this day, my brother. What was won that day was a battle, not the war. That would come later. We shall know glory this day, my brothers.
I like the voice work. And
I went to Fiverr for that. It's amazing what you can get there. It's just I think for a budget of around 65, I think it's about $75. I got all of those voices, so I was really impressed.
wow, nice. And then at the very end, I like that whistling sound of the wind at the very end.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that sound effect from. Actually, I can't remember. It's a free noise somewhere on the internet.
Gotcha. Hex Allen Comics, welcome. Russ out and bagged this fantastical phenom today. Only death can save us. Thanks for dropping
Thanks,
the link.
Hex.
Oh, all right. You did mean
Rush.
All
Rush.
right.
Yeah.
Hellos to the chat. This is so cool. This now what? Remind me again. Was this? Oh yeah, this was.
That was an earlier one. That was just a quick one. So I was very kindly advised by Michael Bancroft on a few things. Actually, he was very kind to give me his time. Love Michael, and he suggested I did a really quick, shorter one, so under a minute. So I'd set out and I did that. But then Liam Gray suggested that I do one with a voice track over it, and so I thought I'd give it a go. I think it might have helped. It did okay. People seem to enjoy it. Certainly, it wasn't, like I say, it wasn't a massive budget, and it added something, I think. But all the other stuff there is stuff from my channel and different bits and pieces.
So this second one, it said at the bottom. Well, all right, never mind. Well, hold on.
Yeah, the second one's just a short one. It's like I had three or four trailers.
Okay.
All of them adding a little bit each time. So
Gotcha. So this is kind of like the one we just saw, except without any voiceovers and stuff.
There's no voiceovers or any of that kind of thing. It's just art and bits and pieces. Yeah.
Gotcha. Making a graphic novel. So here you're sharing videos from your channel, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I've got a whole playlist of making a graphic novel. So effectively, I talk about the writing, thumbnailing it out, doing designs for the characters, that kind of thing. Cool.
This one's about character design.
Yeah.
This one is about panel pencils.
Yeah, I'm doing screen captures. I've been a little reticent in the last couple of weeks because I've had my nose to the screen doing colors, but I did do a screen capture this week of me doing a colored panel. So that'll be popped up shortly as well. And so you've got pencils, inks, and colors being done.
All right. Then we have some interior work.
Yeah, and the postcard set as well, which was part of the first 4 stretch goals.
And we got this one. She's pretty cool. It's Pestilence?
Pestilence, yep. So I can actually show you today if you want to see a colored piece.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can show you something. I'll see what I've got here. I posted this up earlier.
Excellent says, even my typos or typios are intentional.
Typios.
All right, so we've got, ooh, so this is completed coloring?
Yeah, that's a complete page colored there.
Ah.
That's a bit of foam going on there.
All right.
So that's pretty atypical of the book as far as colours are concerned. You know, bright and you know, simple, straightforward, not too much, not overworked in any way. Just keeping the book as slimline as possible, and not overdoing it, making it nice and clear, easy to read. So,
Yeah. Let me see something here. Very cool.
Yeah, that one as well. There you go.
Roughly how far through the project are you in terms of completing it?
I've got about 10 more pages to color.
So everything's already at the inked stage?
Oh yeah, it's all inked. I'm just finishing off the colors now. And I've already done the lettering as well. Because I did that on an inked version of the pages, which got sent off to the editor last week or the week before. So he's rifling through it right now. So if there are any changes, I'll pop those in. He's obviously already seen the story and what have you, but he's going through the last edit on that, and then it'll all come together end of next week, and I'll send off for a proof. Send off to the printers for a proof before Christmas. Hopefully I'll get it back before Christmas as well. Again, that'll be another video I'll put on the channel where I can show everybody the proof book. And then it will get sent off for print immediately after Christmas, and I will get it back within a week or so. And that means that I can get everything in the post in January, which means I hit the delivery deadline. So that's good.
Sweet.
So yeah, so it's taken me. I'll be honest. I'm not as far along as I wanted to be. Marketing, being on shows like this, it takes so much more time than you think it's going to take. And that would be the one piece of advice I'd say to anybody is if you're doing it all yourself, if you've got all the hats on, which I pretty much did have, you've got to give yourself that little bit more time to market. But I'd already given myself enough time in the schedule and started quite a way before I launched the campaign, so that by sending everything out in January and pretty much hitting the guide, I'd have loved to have had some books out before Christmas, but that's I'll mark that down to experience, and next time I'll adjust the campaign accordingly. But I'll still be hitting January 2021, which is what's in the delivery estimated delivery time, or at least estimated delivery estimated I can't remember. Sorry, I'm completely off my game at the moment because I'm so tired because I've been banging my head against the screen doing all these colors from early in the morning till late at night, so I can't actually think properly at the moment. So what I was trying to say is my fulfillment, that's the word I was trying to come up with. So my fulfillment date is January 2021, so I'll be hitting that date as far as fulfilling the book is concerned. So yeah, but I've been quite pleased with the way it's gone. Like I say, it's definitely a learning experience. What's great about it, and what's great about enjoying the benefit of being in a network of creators, is that everybody kind of gives over their knowledge, as it were, their lived experience, and I can kind of pass that on to other people. I had a couple of conversations this week with different creators who were asking advice. So it's really great to be able to hand over that information that that knowledge that you've picked up along the way in any of the campaign. So yeah,
absolutely,
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things some creators say is that you should have as much of your campaign completed as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Before I went to my campaign, I had all the pencils done. So in fact, the first, I had all the pencils and the first pass of lettering as well done by the time I went to campaign, I believe. But certainly all the pencils were done, and I was in the middle of the inks.
Fantastic. Yeah, one of the benefits to getting as much possible is done beforehand, before even launching, minimum 25% of the book completed, is that you do have less weight on your shoulders and less stress on you. And you have more opportunities and more time to actually promote your book and go on others' channels and go into other streams. And if you choose to do so, like throw up some super chats saying, hey, check out my book, back it, and all that good stuff. So it gives you that extra time you need to do promotion.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'll consider doing next time. In fact, next time around, I might even consider getting a colorist in to follow the design that I put together, or the style, should I say, that I put together, or even just get a flatter in and get all the pages flatted, so that all I have to do is go in and put the highlights and the shade on. Because the way that I'm producing these colors is similar to the way that I produce stuff for, say, Cartoon Network, in that I'm actually kind of laying down a background and then laying the characters over the top. The inks are one thing, but the way that I'm producing the colors, which means I can lay the flats of the backgrounds down and then do shadows and highlights and what have you, and then lay the characters down over the top of that. But if somebody else is doing the flats for me, then I can just adjust my process. But that would give me some extra time if I got somebody else to do that. But obviously, you got to pay them to do that.
Oh yeah. That's important. That's a very important note.
Yeah. So and from in this particular one, because of the way that I wanted to present the book, I knew that I could color it. Because it's definitely horses for courses. I don't color in the way that Mike Summers, the guy that did the cover, does, or any of the great colorists. I'm not a great colorist, but I can produce the kind of colors that suited this art style, because I wanted it to have that retro Bronze Age feel to it. So I was more than comfortable doing the colors for my own book. So I set out from the start with a vision of exactly the way that I wanted it to look, how it could be done, what I needed to do in order to get it done, and that I would be able to wear all the hats of the creative team. So I wrote it and did the whole of the art. Also, from a lettering perspective, again, you should get yourself a letterer, without a doubt. I feel that I've got what it takes to be a reasonably good letterer. Simply because of my background in design. So, the proof is in the pudding. I'll let people decide that when they get the book. But I'd like to think that I can pull that one off as well. So, so this was about me producing a book, and I wanted to get that out of my system. Also, because of that, it meant I could keep the costs down.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm obviously not paying other people for that part of it. So that I could focus on how I produced the book and getting it done as quickly as I could. So we'll see what happens next time. But I think that the first thing that I'll be looking to put out to third party would be the flats. So.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Bristolian Dave. Good to have you. Hail.
Right, Babbers.
Hexalon Comics is asking, do you plan on any spin-off books with other characters?
Oh, well, at the moment, I've got the arc for the first 4 books in my mind. In fact, I've written the plot for the second story already. And I've got the arc as to what's going to happen in the end as well. I don't know. What I'd quite like, what I've thought about doing, is that in these books, this kind of happens now, 20 billion years after this universe has been created, but it hints at this not being the first universe. It hints at there being previous universes, and that Death and his fellow horsemen had a part to play in all of those universes. So there's the possibility that I could go back and do sort of almost a Lord of the Rings in space kind of thing, which I am kind of playing with, but that's that's down the way, a little way. I've got other things that I'm involved in. I can't say anything about the book yet, but I'm involved in a book that should be announced in the new year.
Okay. Another book?
Right. And once that's done, once I've finished the art on that, then maybe it's time to come back to my own book. So I would imagine that I can foresee me having, a second book in the arc out next year without a doubt. But I've got some other stuff to be doing in the meantime. So spin-offs would be lovely, but they're a way down the track.
Gotcha. Bristolian Dave says, "Hell, I've got 3 streams going. We'll be dipping in and out." I know how that is. Hex Allen says, "Oh man, do I need a letterer?" Yeah,
lettering is important. It's important for the final product. Yeah, is huge. You've got to make sure it looks good at the end, because it's at every point in down the process in comic books, you can ruin the piece before. Okay, so if good grey inks can't save bad pencils. Okay, that's not to say that there isn't a huge job for a good inker. So, for instance, back in the old days, Marvel, often inkers were called embellishers, and it's because so many of the great artists, like John Buscema and what have you, and Jack as well, Jack Kirby, once they got to a point where they were putting out so many books, they would just put in layouts together, and you needed an excellent inker, a fantastic artist in their own right, to finish those pages off. But they already, even though they were only layouts, they still had an incredibly strong base to start from for these incredibly talented inkers. The further down the pencils you go, the more detail you put in, the less the inker has involved in the page. But they still have a very, very important job to do. If you put down crap pencils, it's going to be really difficult for the inker to turn it around. Okay, and of course, the further down the track you go, so if you've got great pencils and a great inker and a great colorist, and then you put crap letters over the top of it, it can ruin the page. It's pretty much as simple as that. So at any point in time, you can absolutely devastate the previous sections of the production of the page. So it's very, very important to have good text.
Absolutely.
Simple things, just like reading the story, but the way it looks as well, how it lays on the page.
In a way, the artist makes the book readable through actions, and a letter makes the book readable through dialogue. And if it's too hard to read, or if it's messy, or if speech bubbles and tails are pointing in the wrong direction, then it throws everything off and can ruin the ultimate story.
Exactly. Well, another reason for me doing the lettering over my penciled pages was so that I could adjust, so that if I needed more text in a panel, I could reduce the image down slightly, move it across a little bit. And I'm not talking about huge amounts, but just enough so that you don't cover too much of the art with, balloons, word balloons. You want the two of them to sit within a panel. You want them to work within a panel. And it's okay to occasionally pop a balloon out of a panel. Not a problem with that. But if you do it too often, it just becomes a bit of a mess. So you kind of got to work with the art as far as how you lay your text down. And so it's quite. It used to be the way that they used to do it back in the day. And I'm sure there's still artists that do it now. That especially if you're creating your own text, you put in a rough bubble as to where they should be in the panel, so that you don't draw too much in the panel. So rather than just the basic, I'll leave 30% at the top of the panel for speech bubbles, you do actually put the speech bubbles in roughly so that you know where they fit within a panel. And I think that's a good way of doing it if you can. If you've got any sort of knowledge of the way that text is done, speech bubbles are put on, then it's good to kind of work them in with your panel whenever you're drawing a panel.
Yeah.
I know that seems like a very obvious thing to say, but there's a lot of people that kind of don't get it. And then what happens is you find that some panels get really crowded with speech, and it kind of gets awkward.
Yeah. Let me see here. In addition to letterers being very important, do you also have an editor, or do you run it by a second set of eyes, or maybe even 3 other sets of eyes?
Yeah, I've got some beta readers lined up for the final product. I've already had people read the script, but I do have an editor, and I've got a dialogue writer. So I wrote the script, and then I passed it to the dialogue writer, Rick Hoskin, and he rewrote the dialogue for me, and came up with a few ideas how the story could be slightly changed, and we put that back in, and then he took a second pass at it, and obviously the editor looked at it, and now it's off to the editor for the final pass.
All right. So you got a team there on that side.
Yeah, I've got support on the writing side and the editorial side. Yes, it's just
nice.
the production side. I kind of wear all the hats on.
Right. Welcome, Adenui says hi. And hail Bristolian Dave, sub to his channel. Indeed.
I have subbed to your channel, Dave.
New video just gone up. Nice. Adenui asks.
Sort your sound out, Dave. I want to watch that video. It's a nice little video, but you're sounding a little bit far away. Get your sound sorted out.
Gotcha. Madanui asks, why does the stream have a context box talking about the Illuminati? I've seen that happen on several streams that I've visited, but I was trying to recreate the issue on my end, but I can't get it to come up on my side. So I'm not sure what's going on.
No, I don't have that.
Hexallen suggests because they're always watching you, Madanui. Madanui says YouTube must think this somehow relates to them. YouTube must, yeah. I don't know how though, but they've done that on several people's streams, and there's no relation whatsoever.
I think the
broached.
The algorithm's just messed up, isn't it? I think the problem with YouTube's algorithms is they try to cover too many attributes, I think, and they end up confusing themselves.
Oh yeah. I think that's reasonable. Let's see here. So as we said before, you had a 5,000 British pounds goal, and you're roughly double, right? Well, you're almost.
Yeah, I think it's about where are we? We're at
69.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my finances.
Because
it doesn't say. I think it was about 170% or something like that. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pesky conversion rate.
Yeah.
So the product, 80 plus pages. That's freaking cool. Perfect bound. Man, it actually looks like a hardcover here.
Yeah, I know it looks like that, but it isn't.
So the cover, I presume, is going to be firm, solid enough.
Yeah, it'll be stiff card. I think I can't remember exactly the weight I was using. I think it's around 200, maybe a bit more. And so you'll get a thicker cover, and then lighter pages. So
Okay.
and the perfect bound is so that it's basically got a square bind to it.
Yep.
It's not stapled. It's a square bound.
Yeah, I think to qualify for stapled, it has to be like 42, 45 pages and under.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, this is going to end up. I think it's going to end up closer to 100 pages.
Nice. And the entire book, interiors and cover, is full color.
Mm-hmm.
A 60-page story, plus concept art and character gallery.
Yeah.
That stuff is really cool. I love seeing behind-the-scenes kind of stuff. Only Death Can Save Us, a Bronze Age-inspired cosmic fantasy romp, bringing together action and pathos as the ancient elemental known as Death leaps from his ethereal retirement to help a young soul protect her loved ones, her world, and even existence itself.
Gets a bit cosmic.
Yeah.
But it's setting up for so it's the kind of book that you can read. You can just read it. You don't have to get the next book. You know, it's not like it's a cliffhanger, but it's enough of a. It's enough of a sort of an unfinished ending, as it were, for you to think, oh, I'd quite like to. I hopefully think that you'd quite like to continue the story. So it's episodic, but at the same time, you can pick up the book. Hopefully, you could pick up the second book without having to know, the first book as well. But there will be a story that goes through the first 4 books, and in the next one. I've not told anyone about the next one. In the next one, it's going to get a bit weirder, and it's going to get a bit funky. So I take the elements that you've seen in the first one, and I kind of dial them up, and do some other stuff. And I take one of the villains and have a kind of a face off with him. So. So I've set something up in the first one that you'll end up, it'll end up realizing itself in the second one.
Gotcha. So Only Death Can Save Us a second time will be subtitled Weirder and Wilder.
Yeah, Weirder and Wilder. At the moment, it's subtitled Titans.
Oh, okay.
So book 1 was Keystone, and book 2 is at the moment is Titans. But that could change.
Bristolian Dave says, Russ, I record on my iPhone currently. I look slimmer the further away I stand. Oh, man. Yeah, so this is definitely reminiscent of the older comics, which is nice.
Yeah.
I've got a really silly question here. On this image, these dinosaurs that look like T-Rexes, are these things that dangle off their heads, are they like horns, or they're not like dreadlocks, are they?
No, they're stiffer than that. They're more, they're hard, spiky things.
Oh, gotcha.
And they're kind of dog-like creatures.
Huh.
When I say dog-like, that's it. They're on all fours. So they're not bipedal like the other guys. The main imp creatures are kind of your typical troll kind of thing, and then you got the snake women, and you got the flying guys up the top there, and then you've got there's a big guy as well. I I can't remember off the top of my head what they were called.
Jacob
where-
Gutex was asking Dave how far away he was from the mic on his phone. He says 12 miles.
12 miles. Yeah. There you go. So I can show you here actually where I've share screen. Oh, there we go. Share.
Before you started this book, did you have a pretty clear idea how you were going to color these characters and their uniforms?
Yeah. So I did the designs that when we were talking about the YouTube channel earlier, I'd already come up with the concept art.
Right.
So yeah. So as you can see there, that's a page where we where I introduce. So you actually get to. I don't want to show too much. You actually get to see this where she's talking about these guys. So there's minions. And this is so she's talking to Death about these guys that she saw, these demons, and she says, well, there are lots of short, ugly guys who looked a bit like my sister's first husband. And he says, oh, they're minions. And then she says, and there were, I guess they were maybe dogs. And he says, rippers, horrible creatures. And then she says, well, there was some guys, do I call them guys, who wore armor and were flying? Really? Actually flying? Scritters, he says. There were scritters. And some snake-tongued people, not a fan. Karinas, not very bad news. And then she says, there was also one was pretty big, about the size of my dad's tool shed, but just the one. A dozer, powerful but stupid, and a gross smell like rotten eggs. So so that's where she introduces you to those demons that are part of the horde. But well, you're going to see lots more of them throughout the book. And then in the second book, I'm going to play with them a little bit. And that's where I'm saying I'm kind of taking what I've done in the first book and dialing it up. So we'll see where that goes.
Gotcha. Very cool. Dave says, Russ has got one of the best looking books in crowdfunding.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Hex Allen says, follow Jacobus Gotex on Twitter. Sweet. Thanks for dropping the links, guys.
Yeah, it's cool.
Some nice artwork, good colors. Everything is popping off the page. Some more interiors.
Yeah,
Death looks so bored.
He's bored. He is bored shitless. He's had 20 billion years to get bored.
That's the list. Everyone's complaining and stuff. What's that? Oh.
What?
Does that say Namo Systems?
Namu.
All right.
Namu.
Is that a computer store?
No, it's Namu is the name of one of the Sumerian demigods, I think.
Oh, all right.
What I did was as part of the research for the naming of some of the characters and some of the places, I went back to Sumerian legend. So I checked out some of that pre-biblical stuff. There's also some Celtic in there, some original Gaelic, and bits and pieces. So the kind of the idea being that the underlying theme in this is that things like heaven and hell, God and the devil, God and Satan, Death, the Four Horsemen, all these things. They're all out there. It's just that we've got it wrong. And through the ages, certain mythologies and religions have got little ideas or got little sneak peeks at these things, but they've been misconstrued as they've come to the modern day. And even Death himself is not what you think he is. So that's not a skull. It's not a human skull. It just happens to look like that. And death is basically part of the rich tapestry of the existence of the origin of the universe, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Thank you kindly, Jacob says to Hex. Dave says it'll be all pictures though, as Russ don't like to read.
No. I'm amazed I got a script out at all.
There's Jacob's YouTube. Thanks as always for dropping the links. Follow the production. I like her a lot. She's cool looking.
Yeah, you'll find out who she is at the end.
I like Death's skull mask. Oh yeah, he does have a neck, doesn't he? Okay.
There is some neck in there, and I hint at it in the art. And at some point probably in book 3, there will be more of a reveal.
And this is also Death, right? With a hood on?
Yeah, well, he's got a hood. It's just that he leaves it off for most of the time.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Follow the production on your YouTube channel. Nice. The perks. In production preview available September.
Yes, it's not here yet, but it will be. He promised me last week that he would get it to me. So, but
yeah. I think I can do a bang up job on this one as well. Rob Lewis.
So that is incoming as we speak.
All right.
Waiting for that. The others are done, obviously.
Renzo Rodriguez.
Yeah. And that is beautiful, the Renzo Rodriguez one.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I think I mentioned last time I love the stars, the universe in the background.
Yeah.
Mike Emirates on a pile of dead bodies.
Yeah, a bit of a 2000 AD feel to that one, I think. It's really nice. And then there's sort of an anime from Emirates. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. There are 9 tiers to choose from with a mix of original art and prints from some truly awesome guest artists. Rob Willis and Renzo Rodriguez and Mike Emirates and Emmert Birdie. A4 prints. And A4 is kind of like the United States 8.5 by 11, right?
Yeah, it's a magazine size.
Magazine size.
So it's bigger than it's 30 centimeters by 21 centimeters. Okay, so it's like the size of a magazine. It's a bit bigger than the classic comic size.
A4 character sketches and the Four Horsemen A3 poster.
That's twice the size of A4. So that's something else I learned this time is that Americans don't know what A4 A3 is. So next time I'll just put down sizes. I'll just put down centimeters and measurements so that people can actually see the physical size, and I'll put something like A4 A3 in brackets, so if people do know those page sizes. So
right.
A4 and A3 over here, they're standards. We go from AO down to A6 for standard sizes. But it's not international.
Let's see here. Hex Allen says, find out who that pretty lady is at the end of Only Death Can Save Us. Dave says Rob Willis is a busy boy. It'll look amazing once it's here, though.
Oh, it will, yeah.
All right, Bristolian Dave. A4 is a proper size for paper. A4 is half of A3. A3 is half of A2. A2 is half of A1. Does that mean A1 is half of 0?
A1 is half of AO, yeah. A0, yeah.
And
but you don't often use A0, and you don't often use A1, to be honest. He's right. Like A1 is like the size you find on a big flip chart when you're doing a presentation or whatever.
yeah, you probably don't want to. Yeah, that's true. A2 is half of A1. A1 is the size you find on a flip chart. Let's see here. We also have a tier for the collector with original page art from the book and a one-off printed and signed colored canvas of the cover art. That's really nice.
Nobody's taken that up, so never mind.
Well, you never know. Someone might pick it up.
Yeah, maybe. But I'll leave that one on in demand.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to have printed up. So I'll only be taking a couple off. I'll be taking like the one where you get your name in the book and that kind of stuff. But if anyone has, I haven't sent this out as an update, but obviously I will send it out to everybody. If anybody's got original art as well, they will also get their name in the book. But obviously I have to check with people first to see that they want that to happen. So I'll just send out an update and say if anybody's done that, then that's what they can have. But so I'll obviously take that one off once I've printed, because I won't be able to put anybody's name in the book after that.
Yeah, Dave says, but back on track. Back this book.
Back this book now.
Excellent.
This is disturbing.
Excellent says I mispronounced Dave's name and actually said Brazilian Dave. So Excellent says when you said Brazilian Dave, I pictured Bristolian Dave in a thong bikini. I'm sorry you imagined that.
So am I now.
Oh dear. Someone get Hex a therapist.
Yeah. Ew.
That's funny. So original page art, 10 available, A3 4 Horseman poster.
Yeah, then they're on to the stretch goals. So
funded at £5,000. Pestilence, first character in an exclusive 4 postcard set.
Yeah.
At £5,750 pounds. Stretch goal number 2 is War, second character in an exclusive 4 postcard set. 6,500 pounds. Famine is the third character. Let me see something here. So you're at 8,269 pounds.
Oh yeah, they're all done. Yeah.
Whoopsie, where was I?
Further down. There you go. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm going to make 9,000 by the time I go to print, because I'm going to. I'm obviously going to proof next week after next. So I don't think I'm going to get that patch done. So what I am going to do though is, if I can't get the patch done, I am going to make a sticker, because I've already promised those people that signed up to the email list that they would get a sticker. I've got a Only Death Can Save a sticker. So what I'll do is I'll do a round sticker with 6 a.m.'s art on it, and everybody will get one of those.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that'd be cool.
And the art print from me as well. I might slot that in as well, because I like people to get more than they think they're going to get.
Right, exactly. Let's see. So at the very least, there's a chance we'll get a sticker, even if.
Oh, you're going to get, Pete. You're going to get more in your packages than you think you're going to get, without doubt. You know, I've already had a chat with you, so you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and I so badly wanted this A4 art print too.
I think that may well get done anyway. To be honest with you, it's going. I've got to ink it up to put it in the book. So I think I'll probably get a print of it as well, and then we can send it out.
That would be neat. The Spot UV, isn't that where specific, like the cover itself is generally almost a matte finish?
No, it's yeah. Sorry, I let you finish. I'm sorry.
And then specific areas like the title of the book, for example, or specific points you want to highlight are like a glossy, shiny, smooth effect.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It would have been the title and death.
Oh, okay.
So the title and then death underneath it, and he would have been all glossy, while the rest of
his entire body.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it would have been him and the logo effectively. I would have had shiny. So I'll see if I can get that for the next one, or maybe leave it for a special at some point. I don't know. Like I said, at some point in the future, I'd really like to do a black and white only version of it, like a compendium where you've got all, like 240 pages and a hardback would be lovely.
Yeah, and so you go over the team, and then you also mentioned guest artists.
Mm-hmm.
We also have an array of uber talented guest artists on pinup and color duties.
We do.
Rob Willis, Renzo Rodriguez, Mike Emmerich Birdie, Mike Summers, Chris McCulley, and Captain Frederick Head. Captain Frederick Head. Oh my. All right, so this is like your inspirations. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's just some of the art that I did for Marvel.
Sweet. The world. Our approach.
Yep.
There are no toxic fans.
There are none.
Risks, challenges, and checking up on us. And then you got your comic book black belt channel, which is sweet. And then let's go to the top here. And let's see. Let me see if there's anything I missed here. So we're getting Hexatherapist. Why the hell was that what I came back to? People, we need to get Russ to 9,000 pounds. Got to get that patch. Yes, indeed. Welcome, Albino Thunderbuns. Important question. Is it true that when Russ streams with Lucifer Storm, they wear each other's socks?
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for that. That's nice. What a lovely question. Yeah. That's the poster that I did. So.
All right. Nice. Welcome, Randy Siplon.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, yo.
Good to see you. That's another great book. I've got if I don't know if anyone's interested, oh, actually, hold on. This is something else you can see from the book, actually. Because I showed this one the other day, so people can see this.
Whoa!
So that's the center spread of the story, just about. So,
Oh my gosh! Wow! Look at
that's when all hell kicks off from that point on. Yeah, I was quite pleased the way that came out.
there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah. There's the portion of the horde that Satana brought with him is ready and present and up for a fight, and they get one. So there you go.
Huh?
I'll stop sharing there. Don't show too much.
I was gonna say, I was trying to make out the bottom left corner with the guy's head and.
Oh, that's the surprise. That's the gooey bit.
Literally the gooey bit.
Yeah.
Matanui says, I stepped out to walk my dog, and when I got back, the Brazilian Dave comment was on screen. So let's see here. So, as always, I love it when campaigns have a featured tier. It's, as far as I'm concerned, the most bang for your buck. You get a good feel for what the book and the campaign is about, the story, and you get some extra goodies. It's not going to be the cheapest tier. It's not going to be the most expensive tier. Somewhere in the middle. This one gives you the complete print set, including the Four Horsemen poster, as well as the book.
Yeah, it gives you the book, the A3, the Four Horsemen poster, and then the 4 black and white art prints.
And then the second tier is the single graphic novel. Perk updated, 18 claimed as of September 3rd.
Yeah, that's another thing, another little piece of information. When you set up in Indiegogo, it has like a retail price.
Yes.
And the price that and I just put in what I thought was a reasonable an amount. And then I realized that wasn't correct at all, that I didn't really want it in there, but it wouldn't allow me to edit it. And of course, then once people started buying, it wouldn't allow me to edit them anymore. I worked out how it worked. It wasn't, out of all the things, the Indiegogo user interface is actually really, really good. But this one particular thing wasn't well signposted at all. I couldn't change it. So what I had to do was create duplicates of the perks, and then take off the retail price so that I didn't get the red slash to the right. And it was just, it made no difference. It was exactly the same perk, exactly the same price, absolutely no difference. So in order to do that, I had to change the thumbnail that came with it. So I just popped on there that the perk had been updated, and that's how many had been claimed at the moment I updated the perk. So that's all that is about.
Huh.
But so that you know, everybody out there, don't go anywhere near the retail prices unless you absolutely know you need them. Just leave them blank. Forget them. They don't exist.
Well, yeah. I'm still trying to understand the two prices that Indiegogo requires from the get-go. My thought, and I don't know if this is even accurate, is that you designate what your ideal retail price is, and then you also designate, suppose it goes on sale, what will your sale price be?
Yeah.
And then you launch a campaign, and it starts at the retail price, and then over time, as it gets exposure and as time passes, eventually especially if the algorithm starts to see some sluggishness on the campaign, then they drop down to the discount price to try and pull more eyes and get more interest in it.
All right. Okay.
That's the way I always viewed it, but I don't know if that's even correct.
It just seemed to be two prices, and what one was compared against the other. But I know that in some territories, unless you've actually had it, unless it's a product that is actually destined for a retail pipeline, they don't like you using those discount equations.
But aren't those fields required before it'll let you move forward?
No, it isn't. That, you see, that's the whole point, is that I found it it wasn't well signposted at all. You can actually leave that field blank. You can't leave the price of it blank, but you can leave like the discount price or the retail price that creates the this is what you're saving flash. You don't have to put anything in that, because when I went and created the duplicate perk, I only put the one price in and it worked. Which is why it doesn't have the strike to the right hand side and the percentage off.
Yeah. All right. And then we got. Oh, go ahead.
So somebody mentioned to me, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said that in some areas, in some territories, they don't like it. So I just thought, just to be safe, I'd make a duplicate perk. So.
Yeah, I mean, if for some reason there's a mistake on the perk tier itself, then in Indiegogo, if at least one person has already backed it, then you either have to hide it or you have to duplicate and rename it.
Yeah,
and
you can't edit it.
Yeah, you can't edit it. Basically.
No. So what I had to do is I had to hide the old perks and just show the duplicate perks. But it wasn't a big deal because it was exactly the same thing. But it was I wasn't even aware of that. And then I went back and I looked at other people's campaigns, and there were some people's campaigns that had the little red strike text saying 10% off or whatever. But there were loads of them that didn't have it on there at all, and I thought, well, how come that's where's the toggle, where's the switch for me to turn that off? And you'd think it would give you the ability to put both prices in, but to toggle whether you showed the discount or not. That and I've designed GUIs, so I kind of know what I'm talking about, and that made perfect sense. But I went back in and there was no such device in the user interface. So I just went the safe route and created a duplicate perk. But for anybody out there, if you don't want to put that red strike percentage off to the right, just fill out the one box, which is the price box. Good tip.
Albino Thunderbun says, "Sweet Christmas. That's a rumble George Perez would be proud of."
Oh, there's a name. Yeah, I don't know about that, but thank you, Joe.
Single book plus backer's name in the credits. That's pretty sweet. So this was also updated.
Yeah.
So 24 claimed. And then as for any of the tiers that are hidden, you got to also keep track when you're fulfilling people that are in the hidden one.
Yeah, that's not a problem, because I mean you print out or you download a full Excel sheet of all the names and everything, and I'll be using that to print out address labels and that kind of stuff, so you can keep a tab on exactly what you're doing. There's a couple of people who've bought two separate perks like yourself. Thank you very much, everybody who's done that. And those people I've already reached out to say, look, what I'll do is I'll do something slightly different for you guys. I'll, for instance, yours will be coming over UPS anyway. And there's some other UPS deliveries I'll have to sort out. Anybody that got a piece of art, a piece of page art, will get a UPS delivery. So all these things will be sorted in time. And my bless her, my wife has already volunteered herself to help me out with fulfillment.
Oh,
So
sweet.
we'll be doing a week or two of fulfillment in January.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So that was a graphic novel plus the backer credit. So there will be a page or, well, I guess it depends on how many backers you have in total as to how long that's going to be, whether you'll squeeze all the names on one page or if it might end up being 2 pages.
Yeah, I'll put something nice together for that. I think I want Death himself on that page because it's Death's list. So yeah, I think I'll produce maybe a spread for that. So.
Cool. Then we have guest artist 2 A4 print set number 2. This is the Mike Emirates and Emmert Birdie team up.
Mm-hmm. So those two you can get in that set, and then the next one you can get the Rob Willis one and the Renzo Rodriguez one, but you can also get a Rob Willis print on its own as an add-on. So next time I think I'll do more add-ons actually.
Cool. Yeah, I like add-ons in part because, you know, it minimizes the number of times I have to back the campaign. Because if there are tiers that don't quite meet what your needs are, and don't quite give you all the little extra goodies you want, then you have to back it once, and you get charged whatever shipping that is, and then you got to start from the beginning, back again to get all the pieces you missed, and then you get charged shipping again.
Yeah.
Whereas if you did add-ons, then it might give you the opportunity to save a little bit on the shipping instead of repaying for shipping.
Yeah. Definitely next time round. I think I'll have separate add-ons for everything. So you'll have basic perks. So you'll have the book. You'll have 2 books. You'll have a book with artwork in some form or other. And then if I do other prints and bits and pieces, they will all be add-ons after that. And I'll just simply list the add-ons in the main body of the text.
Nice.
But that's a lesson learned there. So
yeah, welcome William.
Hey Willie.
Willie. Ale. Only death can save us.
And Ale.
Yes, and Ale. This is the other team up. Rob Willis, Renzo Rodriguez. So that looks really cool.
Yeah, I love that Renzo's print is lovely. And I'm sure Rob's will be as well.
Yeah. And then we have a 2-book bundle, save on postage. So you get the 2 copies of the book.
Yeah. So you save on the book and on the postage. So
yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good pricing there. This one is single book plus an A4 black and white character sketch.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. Oh, go ahead.
It's one of the characters from the book, so I'll randomly select a character and do you a print, a drawing of them, and there's only actually 3. I think a couple were claimed prior to me duplicating the perks, so there might only be like 5 of that. So I'm probably going to reach out to every one of them and just say, look, I'm doing a random character, but what do you want? And if they want something different, then I'll draw something different for them.
Gotcha. Next one is a book plus original page art.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
Now you've got 10 available. Well, actually, you had 10. Now you're down to 6 left.
Yeah.
So people are buying that one. Nice, nice. I think it's fun to get original page art.
Yeah, I was just thankful that that people went for that because I was a bit concerned about the price of it. because it is quite a big outlay. And obviously the postage as well, because you've got to send it UPS. You can't just stick it in the post.
True.
You know, so it is quite a bundle of cash to lay down on something. But yeah, so I was quite pleased that I got 4 of those sold.
Yeah, and this is pretty epic, the collector's bundle.
Yeah. You got to give it a go, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, I think every campaign, to be honest, especially if you have an awesome looking product like yours, has to have some kind of high-end tier. There are people in ComicsGate who back higher price campaigns. I mean, not only is it because, you know, you're offering a lot of cool stuff, but some people want to help you more.
Yeah.
Without necessarily getting tons and tons of copies of the same book.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
They want to help you more financially to push your campaign along. So it helps to have a higher tiered campaign for those people.
There's plenty of stuff there to put on your wall as well. So there's like original art in there as well as the canvas, and then the posters as well. So plenty of options for stuff to stick up in a study or a snug or whatever.
Yeah. 2 copies of the book, 80-page graphic novels. You get the 4 Horsemen A3 poster, the Rob Willis A4 print, the Lorenzo Rodriguez A4 print, the Mike Emmerich A4 print, the Amber Birdie A4 print, A4 character sketch, 50 by 50 centimeter cover art canvas, and A3 original page art. How are you going to send the canvas, by the way? Are you?
They'd all go in the same package. Everything would go in the same package at UPS. Okay. So
you know, when I was moving, I was checking out some of these bundled packages of boxes for shipping containers and stuff like that. And one of the things was something you use for when you're shipping picture frames and stuff. And they have like these little corners that you attach to the corners of your picture frames, and then you rest it inside the box. I was wondering if it's something like that, or if you...
When you buy those canvases, they come packed like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So they come packaged with the corners protected. So I'd keep all the protective packaging from what they sent me as the canvas, and then everything else would go in. It's all bubble wrapped and packed as well.
Nice. So that's pretty sweet. One of those available, so somebody back it. And then I love seeing packages that have sold out, you know, that have been claimed, because it gives me an opportunity to see what I missed out on. And that way, you know, it'll be like, that'll teach you. Next time, you better step up your game and get on the project and back it sooner. And so you had exclusive Red Valkyrie cosplay. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, Red Valkyrie on her channel, aka Shay, does whenever she has a guest, she cosplays as one of the characters from the book that she's promoting. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was a great helmet as well. She did a really good job on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which she'll send that out direct, and obviously I'll send the book. So.
Yep, nice.
Get both.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this was a case in which I was on the ball and I did score it.
I think this might have been you, yes. So you beat yourself there.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it, it's sold out. Oh, that was me.
Exactly. Edwin, sign up for the ACE mailing list Acevedo. Welcome. Hail, peeps.
Evening, Edwin.
Albino Thunderbuns, important campaign question. I'm a bit of an Anglophile and I collect original art. So is it possible to buy an original sketch of Queen Elizabeth wearing a Monty Python's Flying Circus nightie?
No. I like draw the line at porn and that.
Oh my gosh. Well, that might be more kinky than porn.
Is that a young Queen Elizabeth or an old?
Oh yeah, that's a
point. Makes a difference.
It does.
I think a very, very young Queen Elizabeth, when she took the throne, would probably look quite hot in a nightie. Actually,
yeah,
she was a very attractive young lady.
And then if you go with an older Queen Elizabeth, then she'll probably dress more conservatively and have a full-on nightgown.
I would hope so. I don't really want to think about it any other way.
Where everything is more covered up, you might say. Albina is asking, saying, "Wooly, I'm back in your campaign this weekend. Gotta get all the books."
Yeah. Yeah, I back that. That looks like a fantastic campaign from Willie. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing those books in my hands.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, awesome. That's guys, I feel queasy. To talk about Queen Elizabeth and the nightie.
Yeah, I think it must have been.
Oh my goodness. Let's check out this trailer once more, and I think we should wrap it up, as I will be needing to get ready for work.
$20 billion years ago, as the Second Age gave way to the Third, one last great war raged between Satana's forces of cruel chaos, who had ruled for a sliver of eternity, and the forces of order, who sought to remake things anew. The Supreme called her warlords the pillars of creation. Their purpose was not to bring apocalypse, but to welcome forth the new age. Over time, their true purpose would be forgotten, for such is the fate of legends, and only their names would be remembered. War, famine, pestilence, and death.
Damn, I love things. Wretched things. You preach to the converted, brother. Their vile number seems limitless. 6,666 by my count.
They have numbers, aye, but their arrogance will yet be their undoing. Mark my words, brothers.
You speak true, Sister Pestilence. Even now, my mistress builds a prison to house him. A prison of love. She also need that we lead them there. This is the word.
Then let us draw succor from it.
And thus it came to pass that the Third Age began with the vanquishing of evil and the renewal of life. But evil is patient. It clings to the dark places and waits for its moment to strike.
We shall know glory this day, my brother.
What was won that day was a battle, not the war. That would come later.
We shall know glory this day, my brothers.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, the more I watch that, the more I imagine when I read it, I'm going to be imagining those voices coming out the pages.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I want it to have that kind of Saturday morning cartoon feel. You know, it's supposed to be a fun book, cosmic adventure, cosmic sci-fi adventure. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see some more hellos. What's wrong with Queen Liz in the 90s? She's a handsome woman. She reminds me of Terry Jones and Monty Python. Not my type. Epic back. Only death can save us. Right on. I'm going to give you the floor. Would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
Yeah, sure. You can find me on YouTube as Comic Book Black Belt. On the channel, you can find out more about my process, how the book was made, and other bits and pieces, including interviews and reviews. You can also find me at russleach.com or comicbookblackbelt.com. You can also find me at onlydeathcansaveus.com, which is about the book. There is a link there as well as in the description, I'm sure, here, so that you can get to the Indiegogo campaign. It's still in demand, and until I go to proofs and week after next, the stretch goals are still in action. They're still live, so there's still a 6 a.m. comics embroidered patch available to be got there. You can also find me on the Twitter, on the Fleecebook. You can find me at the Instagram and over on the Parlay when it bloody well works, because the image upload is crap. But there you go. So come see me, come find me. I'm always available for a chat about comics and comic book art.
You can find me on Facebook and YouTube under WyzGyz Entertainment when YouTube's not banning me. You can find me on Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets when Twitter's not shadow banning me. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Mark the bell for notifications. Indicate you want to see all notifications, so hopefully you don't miss a single video or stream. Drop some comments down below and let us know what you're most excited about this project, Only Death Can Save Us. Thank you to everyone in chat who joined us today. You guys are awesome. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay.
Thanks, chat.
And thanks to our very special guest, Russ Leach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Always an honor. We are going to close out in 3, 2, 1.
Final guest is the only person below White Holiday in the ComicsGate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube translation. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.